Let us live and move and have our being.
See poor Lazarus in his full frightening misery and be
The hand cannot alone deliver man. The body.
Hello.
Welcome.
Hello.
We are back for another night of church history trivia.
Revived church history trivia night. That's
to
right.
clarify us from all the other church history trivia nights.
Yeah, it's branding. Revived Thoughts Church History Trivia Night. We are very excited to be back. We got more questions. We got more answers. We got another edition of our famous segment, Name That John.
Oh,
which I'm very excited for.
It's a good one. It's a tricky one. If you've never been a part of hi, how you doing, Drew? If you've never been a part of Church History Trivia Night, it's very exciting. One of the things that makes it exciting is of all the Church History Trivia Nights, this is the only one. So that really makes it easier. When you win Church History Trivia Night with us, you've won the only one on the internet, and that's a title that actually in all of history only Lee Jones can say he's had, because so far he has won back-to-back matches.
That is right.
But we are pretty sure that we've caught how he was cheating, so we'll see if it continues in this
Lee
third
Jones,
round.
Fake news.
Tell us who you are and what podcast you're with and what that podcast is all about.
Who, me?
Yeah,
yes.
Lee Jones.
I'm Lee Jones. I'm 1/3 of Guys with Bibles. We're a podcast that seeks to study scripture, discuss doctrine, and glorify God. So we're just three normal guys. We do several different types of episodes. So we're doing a long-term study in Ephesians right now. And then we also do some episodic type episodes on either particular doctrines, or I'm talking with people about their favorite psalm recently. So it's kind of a mixed bag, but it's all scriptural, doctrinally sound, and I dare say a lot of fun. We're part of the BAR Network.
Yeah, they are. They are part of the BAR, Biblical and Reformed Network. And if I know Dwayne, who is one of the big, he's the honcho of that network. He's out there watching, and he's counting on you, Lee, to win. We will see. All right, let's shoot it over.
Lee Jones is the reigning champion. And last time we did this, Lauren Hereford, I thought you had this. I thought you were going to win it. And then at the last minute, Lee scraped out. Do you think you'll be able to win it tonight?
You know what? I'm pretty sure last time was just like first time good luck kind of thing. So I'll probably do worse this time than last time. But we'll see.
So what you're saying is second time better luck. That's right. We think you'll beat Lee Jones for sure this time.
Lauren,
unless somebody managed to sabotage his internet, which I asked my listeners to do, to find his home, sabotage his internet, and then maybe I'll win.
Speaking of your listeners, Lauren, I will say we probably had 200 plus comments last stream that were the Lauren crew. Like they were representing.
They came in ready to play. And that is without a doubt.
So
true.
you got your fan club for sure. Can you tell us a little bit about your podcast and what it's all about?
Sure. Well, I'm Lauren Hereford, and I'm the host of the Tulips and Honey podcast, and it's a reformed podcast where I usually do some interviews and some topical episodes, but really just whatever occurs to me, or if there's authors that I can interview or pastors that I can interview. And so I've gotten to interview some really amazing people like Justin Peters and Costi Hinn, Chris Roseborough, Ray Comfort. So lots of really great interviews and lots of great authors that I've gotten to interview. And we really just sort of do whatever pops up to my mind. And then on Fridays, we have the mega list, which is probably why my amazing listeners are so hardcore. But you said 200 comments, which means we now know how many they need to beat. So hopefully my humblebees are in the comments and they can beat that number, because that's what I'm looking for.
That would be what we were looking for too. So perfect.
Absolutely. All right. From there, let's move on to Patrick. Patrick, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your podcast?
Great. Yes, I co-host a podcast called Cave of the Cross Apologetics with my elder Tony Gavan. He is the doctor of philosophy. I'm just the student. So if you need a good foil for the audience and you're like, philosophy, Christianity, I'm not sure I'm that smart. I'm your guy. So everything is through my lens. So we make sure Tony dumbs it down for me. And then, of course, you'll pick it up from there because clearly smarter. And so what we do is we just take a book from the bookshelf behind me, or maybe I order a different one and put some dirt on it and blow off the dust that is probably collecting on yours. And we say, hey, instead of making a pretty bookshelf, let's engage in a a book study on this, and so we kind of go chapter through chapter in apologetics, and we take it from a presuppositional point of view, but we also encounter all sorts of different modes and mindsets as well. And we just invite you to pour yourself a cup of coffee and join us in your own book club, where you just have to sit there and take it in.
Excellent. Yeah, awesome. Cave to the Cross podcast with Patrick over there. Let's keep it moving over to Joseph. Joseph, can you tell us a bit about yourself and your podcast? We'll see if we got you coming in and out of connection. I think we got a bead. Joseph, are you there? Can you tell us about your podcast?
Joseph, did we lose you? Did we lose anybody else? It's very quiet.
Okay, I think we'll try to circle back around to Joseph. Let's pop over to Kenn. Kenn Chipchase, you're representing the Do Theology, one of the co-hosts over there at Do Theology. Can you tell us a bit about yourself and what the podcast is all about?
Yeah, so part of the Do Theology podcast, where we keep doctrine in its place. We talk about how to discern doctrines, if they're primary, secondary, or a third column we call doubtful things. When should we divide over doctrine? When should we strive for unity over doctrine, and how that works itself out practically? We've developed a nice little chart that is helpful for helping discern those things, dotheology.com/chart. And we encourage you, one episode that we really like to point people to that is just kind of gives a good overview of these things is, it just came out actually, season 3, episode 2 on February 11th of this year, The Chart and the Church. Really encourage you to listen to that. And we also do interviews with some great individuals that have contributed greatly to Christianity. We've got some coming up with Carl Trueman and Bob Coughlin. So those will be coming down the RSS feeds pretty soon. So we're excited about that. So yeah, give us a subscribe.
Wonderful. Right. And Kenn is one half of the Do Theology podcast team. The other, Jeremy Howard. Jeremy.
He called him in last minute. He said, I'm going to make sure Do Theology has a chance. And he pulled in
Right.
Jeremy
so now
Howard.
they got twice as many
chances
of representing Do Theology there. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself? I know Kenn already talks about the podcast a bit, but if you have some follow-up thoughts.
Yeah. So my name's Jeremy. I'm a pastor in Utah. I'm out here mingling with the Mormons. So if you ever get out to Utah, hit me up. And yeah, we have the Do Theology podcast. We keep doctrine in its place, and I keep Kenn in his place. So it's a real good fit. And we have a lot of fun on that show, but also talk through really important stuff. So check that out. And I also do debates, and I write on my website. So you might want to check out my website too, jeremyhoward.net.
All right.
Excellent. Okay. I can try to come back, Joseph. Joseph, can you hear us?
Are you out there, sir? Uh-oh.
He's he has a very stoic pose that the camera keeps freezing on, and then it'll like come through a little bit.
I really hope we get Joseph. Joseph, he runs a podcast called Church History Matters, and the reason I kind of really was like, I want him on this week's is because about a week or two ago, he posted an episode of his show called Church History Trivia Man on the Street, where he took a quiz and asked people at the Founders Conference, different church history questions. But he found a quiz that I had written over a year ago on one of those like quiz websites. I just threw it out there for fun and sent it to as a link. Forgot I did it. And then suddenly he was like, hey, can I use this? And I was like, sure. And so I got to listen to people live take the quiz that I had written a very long time ago. And it was really entertaining to me because some people did great. And I didn't like that because I like to trick people. But then some people did not do so well. And that made me happy.
He does. As you guys are about to find out, there's some trick questions in here. Hopefully we'll get him back in here.
I am messaging him now.
Well, we'll get him reconnected and with the lot. We are Revived Thoughts, a production of the Revived Studios banner. So Revived Studios has a few different podcasts that we run. Revived Thoughts is kind of our flagship podcast. We take old sermons from the past, old manuscripts of these sermons from great church fathers, some that you heard of, some that you haven't heard of. And we have volunteers read through them, recreate them for you to listen to once again. And Troy and I also take the first 10, 15 minutes of each episode to talk about the backstory of that episode. When was that sermon being preached? What was the audience? what was going on in the world during that time. So it's kind of fun.
Yeah.
We started as like a sermon podcast, but it kind of
really evolved
into
a church history
history podcast. Yeah, which is I mean, it can be both.
It does, and it's a lot of fun. We really enjoy doing it. We also have a couple other shows we would, but I think the one that has just taken
Martyrs
us by
and
storm.
Missionaries.
Martyrs and Missionaries. It is hosted by my wife. She came to me with this idea like 9 months ago, and she was like, "Hey, I want to do like Lisa's Book of Martyrs or something," right? And I was like, "Oh, that's a great idea," but that's definitely a show that exists. And then we Googled, and it wasn't. I thought, well, what about Voice of Martyrs? But Voice of Martyrs does contemporary persecution, but nothing on history. So I said, well, go for it. And so she started researching it. It took a long time to get the idea out. She added missionaries on because a show of just martyrs is a little bit heavy,
a little bit depressing,
depressing. So we added missionaries on there, and it's just people.
Plus, it has some suspense. You don't know. Could they? Are they going to get martyred? Or
he got killed. Okay, that was too far.
Ending?
But the point is, you don't know for sure. It makes it a little bit more fun instead of going, another one that's going to die.
It's also really just encouraging to see people that are, so on fire for Christ and their faith.
Yes,
that they're willing to give their life for it. So it's a neat show. It's an encouraging show. Little 20-minute episodes.
Check and see if Joseph's coming back.
I'm checking. He's not quite in just yet here.
Right. Don't worry. Everybody dies in the end.
That's true. Eventually,
actually, yeah. In Revive Thoughts, it's sad, but every single one of our speakers has died as well because they all come before 1900. So.
Yeah, they have to be dead for.
We actually will not let
be
them
on
Revive Thoughts because then that doesn't make sense. So
yeah, it's a prerequisite to being on the show.
It is.
That may sound like a joke, but many times we received emails like, "Hey, have you thought of this guy?" And we're like, "Well, he's still alive." And
yeah, you can listen to him right now.
His sermons are still coming out. We don't need to bring them back to life. I don't think we could preach them as good as him currently alive can. So yeah.
Right. Yeah. If you can listen to the guy who preached the sermon, listen, that's going to be the best version.
Right.
About,
you're not going to get to heaven and be like, Jesus, your Sermon on the Mount is pretty good. But let me tell you, I saw this one guy, he really brought the Sermon on the Mount home. That's not how it works.
But
I want to give Joseph, I hope our audience, let's go over the rules, and I really hope Joseph Knowles gets on here because he's trying to get in. We really want him to be here.
Can you hear us, Joseph?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yes. All right.
Great.
How you doing? You look like you've relocated to a different room.
Yes, I have relocated. Please ignore the clutter in the background.
Can you tell us a bit about your podcast and what it's all about?
Sure. My podcast is Church History Matters. I co-host that with Ruben Rosales, who's a friend of mine. We both attend the same church. So we do, a lot, just a variety of historical topics. We have some interview shows. We take some shows where we pick a figure, and we kind of call that Heroes and Heretics, where we give a little bit of biographical information about a particular person, do an episode that way. So we actually have an interview episode coming out probably next week, if I can get all that edited and done. That I'm really excited about. That's kind of one of the guests that is like a dream guest for us.
Right.
So we're excited to have that one. And we're just trying to talk about these historical topics because they're relevant for today still. And we feel like church history is interesting and people should know about it, and it should affect the way that they live today.
Absolutely. All right, we're gonna go ahead and jump into this because I just realized it's 8:15 and people have been watching, and I mean, not that they don't want to hear about your podcast.
Minutes now.
They need to hear some church history.
Trivia?
Let's do it. The quick rules for everybody on if you are commenting, please leave comments. Go ahead and do your best to guess. We've already told the host not to look at your comments, so go for it, go crazy. Probably try to get it right. Usually I can read the comments, but today I won't be able to. It's just a thing. So what we're gonna do is go ahead and go for it. But please leave comments. Give your best. Tell us how you do at the end, and maybe we can see. Lastly, the hosts know not to Google, so we let them make sure they know.
So it's a little bit of an honor system, but we're trusting them not to Google the answers.
And lastly, that's it. They know how to message me, so all the rules are covered.
Right,
so if you've never seen this before, they know what to do. You just watch and enjoy.
So as a viewer, feel free to comment your answers and suggestions. That's okay to have them come through on the chat there. The participants in the show are sending their answers to Troy off screen, and he is going to tally those and keep track of our score. So we're going to jump into it, everyone.
This first question is inspired by our new show, Martyrs and Missionaries. I will read it. This hero of the great fire. No. Did you have a different?
I rearranged the question slightly. It is on the screen. Which of these preachers was not alive during the 1900s? A. John C. Ryle. B. Vance Havner, C. Oswald J. Smith, or D. Raffle Ralph.
Ralph Barnard.
Ralph Barnard. Raffle is how I want to say his name so bad in my head.
I hear you.
Which isn't a name, so I don't know why.
All right. Audience at home, who do you think it is? Which one of these preachers was not alive during the 1900s? There's only one. I mean, technically, you know what? We'll get into the technicality here in a minute. Getting answers in already. Love it.
They're flooding.
They're coming in hot and fast.
They're coming in.
I do feel bad for the audience who has to listen to our commentary a little bit. You know,
we have to kill time as the answers come in.
I can see that that the no cheating rule is strongly in effect right now by somebody's answer, which is a nice way of saying I know somebody got one wrong.
It means they're really fun.
I live for this.
It's just to throw you off.
I live for getting people wrong. You should live for greater things. I hear you, but I don't, and that's where I'm at. So, okay. All right, I've checked. Oh, I forgot to add Jeremy. You kind of came in last minute, so I got to get you in this feed here. Bada bing, bada bing. Lauren, I do appreciate how many question marks was on that. Okay. I'll just read it the way she did. Rolf Barnard is how I imagine. She put D, but that was what she was saying. So then with the question marks, that's how I imagine it came across.
Okay.
The answer is, go ahead and show it to him.
J.C. Ryle.
J.C. Ryle. Now, technically, he did die 1900, but I feel like you have to make it past year one to be hundreds.
Right.
He was born in like 1816, and he died on my birthday, June 10th, 1900. So sorry, J.C. Ryle didn't quite make it to the 1900s. I know why you all put Ralph Barnard. You went, who is that guy? I've never heard of him. He's fantastic. He's on Revived Radio, and he has a really good sermon. So you gotta know that's gonna happen. But he really is one of the creepiest preachers. It just scared me. Like Jonathan Edwards, Sinners in the Hands of an Angry God. I listened to his sermon. The God of the Bible kills people back in Bible college, and that you couldn't sleep after that one. Next question.
Did anyone get it right?
Yes, 2 people got it right. Sorry, Jeremy Howard with Ryle and Joseph Knowles. The Church History Matters podcast coming in strong with 1. So we got 1-1 there, but we've got many more to go. Let's hit number 2.
Number 2.
And since these are out of order, I'm relying on you.
Which person was found at the top of the list by beggars as an easy mark to make a few bucks off London during the 1800s?
I love this one.
Yeah. Who all the beggars in the city were like, that guy, he'll give you money.
If you see him on the street, you've got an easy, score.
A list of people that are good to ask people money for.
What a thing! Like, imagine if back in your hometown, the beggars saw you and they were like, and in a nice way, they were like, "What an easy that guy for sure will give you a couple bucks."
Right.
I feel like it's a good thing to be known for.
Sure.
And definitely,
we got Alexander White, we got Henry Liddon, George Mueller, Charles Spurgeon.
Yep, as are the people.
There's no umlaut over the E in Mueller.
He's correct. Technically, it should be George Mueller, but not this time.
So. It's fine.
Unless I get it wrong, and then this question has been.
Yeah.
I saw Lauren try to sneak 2 answers in there. She was like, "It's this, but maybe it's this." But I'm going to go with this, and I'm definitely. I see what you're doing. I used to do that as a kid when I took tests. I would put a T. But then I put like a half little line there, and I'd make the line on the T a little small, so you couldn't tell for sure. Is that an F for false or a T for true? Little tricks of the trade there.
You can't do that in Catholic school. I'll tell you that much.
Well, and then I became a teacher, and when people try to do that, I said, "Get out of here with that nonsense." Yeah. I'm not gonna allow that.
Nobody went to that.
So I really turned on my own kind that way. All right, we have, I think, everybody's answers in. And the answer is Charles Spurgeon. Prince of Preachers. He was the gentleman who, when they saw him walking down the street, we learned that when we interviewed the guy at the Spurgeon Center, that he was an easy mark. And I know what happened. Some of you thought it's got to be Mueller, right? He's known for helping the poor.
Orphanages.
And he was, but it was actually Spurgeon who apparently was the one found in the top of a book by police officers that said it was for beggars, the guide to begging in London. It was like, if you can hit Spurge, you've got a few bucks in your hands.
You got a gold mine right there.
Which is what a great thing to be famous for. All right, number 3.
Did anyone get that one?
We had some. Yes, sorry. We have Lee got it correct. Kenn got it correct. Jeremy got it correct. Joseph got it correct.
Okay,
which was a nice. I kind of went through it. Yeah.
So we're filling up the board here. Yeah.
We got some answers. People are fighting it out over here.
Keeping it going. This hero of the Great Fire of how do you pronounce this, Troy?
Smyrna.
It's not Smyrna?
Smyrna.
You know,
the Great Fire of Smyrna in 1922 saved hundreds of thousands from Turkish soldiers. A. John Stam. B. Asna Jennings. D. Duncan Campbell. D. Oswald J. Smith.
Boom. This one was inspired by Martyrs and Missionaries. It is the latest episode of Martyrs and Missionaries. People have been loving it. Crazy story. I can't believe nobody has heard of it. I mean, like this guy is not more famous, which maybe helps some people figure out the answer if you have. But then again, I think most of these people you have.
People need to talk about the genocide. That would help.
Yes, if you could talk about the Armenian genocide, which now, oh no, our connection will not be heard in Turkey. All of those listeners are going to be lost. But yeah, if
it's
you
just
could...
the Armenian genocide, then, right?
Yes,
they became Calvinists and destroyed them theologically.
No, oh gosh. Okay, I think everyone but one is in. All right, everyone is in. We have several people put Stam. We have a gentleman who put Oswald Smith. Someone put Campbell. And then we have Asa and that's when he invented the chicken noodle.
Right.
No, and then we have Asa Jennings, and the answer is actually Asa Jennings is the correct answer. Stam was in communist China where he got executed, and Oswald J. Smith is just a preacher that did a lot of missionary work, and he's John Stam is featured on the first episode of Martyrs and Missionaries, but Asa Jennings is in the most recent. If you have not listened to any story, and go listen to that story. The way he saved him. Absolutely incredible. I know we're shamelessly plugging ourselves here, but it was shamelessly awesome. We have quite a game on our hands, by the way. Quite a lot of the scorers are just kind of bouncing all over, so it's a lot of fun. Let's do the next.
Who won that question?
Lee. Oh, sorry, the person who got it correct, Lee Jones.
The only one.
The only one
lone
out of the
winner.
group to get it correct was Lee.
Hey,
and yeah, you're gonna have to ask me every single time to tell you who got it right. I see that question.
Now. Okay, here we go. We're keeping it moving. This king of Navarra. I believe it or not, I read through these questions beforehand to try to get, pronounce them in my head. Didn't help one slightest. Didn't help in the bit. Is there a lot of these things you can see it, you read a lot more than you actually have to say out loud. And then when you do have to read them out loud, you're like, those vowels don't make sense together.
Yep, they didn't.
Constant trouble during the 100 Years' War. Was it A, Charles the Bad? Great name. B, George the Shady, also great name.
Yep.
Love it. C, King Louis the 11th, or also known as the Wise.
Sure.
Or D, Edward the Black Hand.
Alrighty.
Man, I really wish we lived in an era where we had
cool nicknames.
like
I know.
that.
I told people back when we did our episode on Schofield, I want to be, where they were calling like Wild Bill and stuff. I'd love to be Tornado Troy.
Tornado Troy.
Yeah.
I don't know what my
yours would probably be Joel.
Joel the
Visionary.
Visionary?
Because he's a video
It's
stuff.
not very menacing.
Well, okay, fine. Yeah, you got me there.
Joel the Great, not overcomplicate things. If it's not broke, don't fix it.
All right, hey Lauren, I am going to ask a favor of you. Can you tell me what the person is? You keep sending me the letter, and I keep having to go back to the trivia question to figure out if you got it right or not. And
she's all about speed and efficiency.
She's fast. She's worried, but don't worry. It would just every time I'm like, okay, what letter is which? She's doing great otherwise. Okay. And
sorry, guys.
No, you're
good.
fine.
You're
You're fine. Absolutely fine. I'm curious because yes, that's fine, Lee. Lee. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Let's see what we got here. Some of you guys sent me questions. Okay. It's kind of, let's see here. It's funny. Okay, one of you put. I'll just go through it real quick. So here are the answers. By the way, I hope you are commenting, listeners. I hope you are telling us your thoughts. Usually I am able to see you, but for some reason I'm not logged in, so I can't see the comments right now. So hopefully you guys have been playing along too and telling us which ones you think it is. I like this because Jeremy Howard looked right at Charles the Bad and put Chuck the Bad. And I think I like that. He's already got a nickname as the Bad, but then he added Chuck just to make it even more. Anyway, he's right, by the way. Charles the Bad is the correct answer. Him and Joseph got it right, which I love. Joseph also has to be right. Like, couldn't even question it. I love that Kenn Chipchase put George the Shady because I made that up. I just thought it sounded funny, and I do like that.
Well, I mean, when the answer is Charles the Bad,
yeah, that's true.
George the Shady isn't too far.
I thought maybe King Louis the 11th, the Wise, that also was made up. I thought that might throw somebody off. And then Edward Blackhand is in the 100 Years' War, but he was not this particular king. So there we go.
Who got it right?
Sorry. Thank you. Joseph got it right, and Jeremy got it right. And they are the only two that I see that got it right. So good job, you two. Let me add you guys to the scoreboard. All right.
Your next question.
Joseph and Jeremy are both doing very well. Yeah. I am not going to lie. I don't know how you guys are doing quite as well as you are, because I know I wouldn't have known that.
Maybe they're cheating.
There might be. I'm just saying. All right. I love how that's our go-to. You know anything about church history? We think you must be cheating.
It's the only logical explanation.
Who knows Charles the Bad without... Okay, go ahead. Next question.
This famous theologian gave us the ontological argument in the 11th century. You pronounce these names, Troy.
Aquinas. Anselm, and I need to pull it up. Also could be called Anselm. I've heard it both ways, but the people in their different camps will feel very strongly. Pope Gregory the Great and Pope Urban II.
Yeah,
there you go.
How do you pronounce that first one?
Aquinas.
Aquinas? I wouldn't have gone Aquinas.
Yeah, it's like Aquafina, but then
Aquinas.
Aquinas. Boy, we sound smart. Okay, go ahead and send in your answers. And again, I hope you're leaving comments. I hope you guys are coming in with some hot and good ideas here. All right. It's really interesting. We're still waiting for Mr. Lee, to put in his thoughts here. Just waiting for him.
Stop Googling, Lee.
It's a little bit noticeable how long he took there. All right.
I think sometimes.
Oh, okay, sure. Yeah. It's really interesting to me because due to theology, Jeremy and Kenn put one answer and everyone else put a different answer. Nobody fell for my tricks. They knew it wasn't Pope Gregory the Great or Pope Urban II, but the question was, is it Aquinas or is it Anselm?
Anselm.
It was Anselm. Or Anselm. Again, I've heard it both ways on that one. And so everyone else but Kenn and Jeremy are going to get that point. But excellent job, everybody.
Yeah, excellent.
And that's a tough one. If I didn't know it, I would have definitely.
There's no way.
I would have definitely been torn between Aquinas and Anselm as well. Next one.
All right. Which person asked Rome to send soldiers to help protect it, leading to the First Crusade? Emperor Alexander, Emperor Alexios, Emperor Peter II, or Emperor Urban II?
Okay, I do want to clarify. He's asking for help to protect him from Rome. So the question, I realized I worded it could have sounded like they're asking someone to protect Rome, and that was not what he was doing.
Sure. So rephrase the question.
Basically, this person in another city was asking Rome to send help to protect their city, and then Rome was like, "We're going to go overboard here. We're going to send multiple Crusader armies, and it's going to be crazy."
Mm-hmm.
Let's see how you guys do your First Crusade knowledge. All right, we've got some right answers coming in. We do, but we've got wrong answers coming in too, and that's what I like to see. When you make church history trivia questions, all you sit there and do is think, how can I make this hard but not too hard? And then and that's so when you get some people getting it right and say, "Oh, Lauren, I'm sorry, the spell check, she put an answer, but the spell check, I gotta take the first."
It doesn't count.
It's fine. It's fine. Don't worry. I knew what you meant. All right, everyone is in, I believe. So let's do this thing. Some of you put Urban II. We have some votes on Alexios. We have some votes on Alexander. And the answer is Alexios. And Joseph Knowles said, we did an episode on the First Crusade. So he's feeling pretty confident. And he was correct. And also, we did a deep dive on the First Crusade. It is a crazy, fun story.
Crazy.
Absolutely. Peter the Hermit. What in the world? So the guys who got it right, Joseph, Lauren got it right, I believe. Like she would spell check, turn it into Alexis. We have Jeremy got it right. And Lee got it right. So Excellent. Let me write those down. It's quite a few of you. Joseph.
All right, we're going to jump into the next question. We're going to keep moving here. Which of the following early reformers was against the death penalty? Calvin, Ulrich
Zwingli. You got stuck. I was a little worried.
Fun to say. Martin Luther, Heinrich
Bullinger.
Or
Bullinger. That one.
Bowling. I would have said bowling.
I've never really heard anybody say his name before.
That's the thing. That happens a lot.
By the way, it's funny because the reformers, boy, let me tell you, you're either against the death penalty or you are really kind of for it. Like we got to get some burn on. So that was kind of fun to do a little research on. But actually, I ran into this one a long time ago doing Revive Devos, one of our shows where we take little devotional bits. And this gentleman had a whole devotional devoted to we can't kill people because then they can never be saved. We can put them in jail forever. Sure, yeah, bad theology. That's a total thing to do with heretics, but we can't actually kill them. And that kind of did give it away. Yeah, I think Kenn, who I know does sometimes look at that, probably just figured out who that was. But anyway, so yeah, the other people all approved it on some level. They were kind of like, it's fine. I can go through if you want, because sometimes people are gonna be like, I don't know if I saw that person murder somebody. I can walk through the this was a tough one to make sure, Google and make sure you didn't say it wrong.
But there was one that was
one that, again, the only one I saw who had a devotional who was like, yeah, of course, throw them in jail, but don't kill them. And that was this gentleman. Are you guys ready? Are we all in here? I love that. Did I put Calvin on there? Was that one of the answers? Yeah. I love that everyone knew not to put that one. They were like, yeah, that's pretty famous.
Yeah.
And, okay, so Calvin, he obviously is famous for approving of Servetus. Some people will say he didn't approve of Servetus. And he kind of looked at it, he kind of winked at it. And Heinrich Bullinger like also, when he commented on Servetus, was like, yeah, Calvin did the right thing. So he's getting put in the kill category with Calvin. So that leaves you Zwingli and Luther. And Zwingli literally had imprisoned multiple Anabaptists, sent men to go kill Balthasar Hubmaier, and said they were able to, and said they captured him and brought him back. So Zwingli is off the list, which leaves you Luther, who was super strongly for sorry, some people say Balthasar Hubmaier, but anyway, so that left you Luther, who was the only guy who was like, again, if we kill them, they can never come to Christ. So it's really bad to kill heretics. And so he's the only one I saw who was, again, very proponent against it. You can make cases, but this is not how we're going to do it. So there you go. Kenn, I think you're the only one who got that right.
Really?
Yeah, which is funny because you would think that would be, but no, we got a lot of Zwinglis.
And that was because you mentioned Revive Devo.
As soon as I mentioned it, I thought, shoot, that gives you a little bit of a clue. And suddenly Kenn goes, Luther? I was like, yeah, okay, that's fair. All right, next one.
All righty. After the Salem witch trials, religious fervor died in the States. A decade later, this man was born who would help rekindle it. Was it A, George Whitefield, B, Jonathan Edwards, C, Cotton Mather?
Was there no D?
There is no D in this.
Well, there was supposed to be Increase Mather, but don't worry, he's not the right answer. But it would have been nice to have him in there, the whole family of Mathers. By the way, it has to be a decade later, very clearly. Like, it's not exactly 10 years, but it's really close. There are other gentlemen who are born, but they come like 20 years later. And I didn't realize.
And I feel like this one is most associated with the revival.
Yeah, I also didn't realize one of these guys was actually older than the other guy, and it was not the one I expected, because when I compare pictures, one of them looks older. And this will make a lot more sense, audience, in a second when I tell you the answer. Also, if you are leaving comments, I'm sure they're great. We want to see them, but I cannot because I am not logged in. So I cannot see them this time, but I hope they're amazing. Lee goes, darn, I blew it. So he feels like he missed that one.
We do have a little bit, so I can see comments here. I just pulled them up here. There's a little bit of pushback in the chat from Holly, who says that Luther defended the death penalty.
Well, I can point to a Revive Devo where he was against the death penalty. But if he changed his mind, cut the feed, Joel. Cut the feed. I don't know. I hate doing the Reformation ones, because you're always going to run into somebody who goes, actually, I literally threw a question out last time because I was like, you know what? I think it's this, but I don't want to get. So if you yeah.
But there is a very specific.
Then again, I'm sorry, Holly, you might be a legitimately great person, but we don't know that you weren't sent by the Pope to take down Luther once and for all here in 2021. So we're gonna have to take your word for it, but we're not sure. I think that's everybody, but no. Okay, sorry. I thought I was waiting on anybody. Okay, so Joseph put Cotton Mather. Lauren put Edwards. Kenn put Edwards. Lee put Edwards. And he said, darn, I blew it. I kind of edited his language. It wasn't bad, but it was crap. I didn't want to say crap on the feed, so I put darn. Anyway, Jeremy Howard, he put Whitefield, and Patrick Studebaker, he put Whitefield, and the answer is Edwards.
Edwards, yeah.
So the three Edwards people are right, and Liam, I'm going to have to take it away because you said he blew. No, you get to keep it. But what, again, really surprised me is if you look at pictures of Whitefield and Edwards side by side, I'm just saying.
Well, you said Whitefield's older, right?
Whitefield is like, it comes like 8 years after Edwards.
Really?
Yeah. So which super surprised me, because I had the same impression where I was like, I thought Whitefield was way older because his revival starts earlier.
Right. I was about to say, wasn't Edwards inspired a lot by Whitefield?
No, they kind of had a very similar time frame, which know, yeah. But then Whitefield came back after Edwards's revival kind of stopped after his uncle committed suicide. I know, audience, you're holding on. And that's when Whitefield came and kind of re-inspired the boys. But Whitefield had already been doing his own revival here, kind of travel preaching. So again, that's why I thought Whitefield was older.
Somewhere that Edwards was at a Whitefield
Whitfield
Like
came to
Sunday.
He came and preached at his church and
Gotcha.
reinvigorated
Right.
Edwards to get back on the horse, kind of get back in there. And all
Ironically,
that
England was.
I had my
sending
dates all
us
mixed
their,
up in my head.
Yeah. So it really surprised when I looked that up. I was surprised by who was older and who was younger in that case. Just goes to show age is not everything. Especially in again, poor Whitfield's case. I mean, I'm sure in heaven I'll have to apologize for this, but he's not the he doesn't look younger. That weird hairdo.
Ministry ages the face.
Well, it's the hair too. Okay, moving on. Next question. Boy, ripping on 1700s haircuts. We're doing good stuff here.
This man saved Rome, the city, from invasion by different forces. Constantine, St. Augustine, Boniface, Gregory the Great.
It's really important that you hear Rome the city.
Rome the city.
Rome the city.
Yeah.
I have done this trivia question before, and they didn't think Rome the city. Let's put it that way.
Rome the city.
Rome the city.
Different forces.
Different invasion forces. So. Answers are coming in. We actually did lose a listener, and if it's Holly, I'm sorry. I was just playing about being sent by the Pope. I know you weren't. I know it wasn't you, so I was just playing. It's hard when you're doing a live show. You got to do what you can here. So don't take that person.
Holly's one of my humble bees, so I bet she's still there.
Okay,
they're
cool.
very loyal.
If nothing else, she's fighting for you here, and you're doing.
That's
everyone's
right.
doing pretty good. All right, so answers are in. I don't know what you guys put on listeners and people back at home, but Lee put Boniface. Lauren put Gregory the Great. Patrick put Boniface as well. Joseph put Gregory. Jeremy put Great Greg. And Kenn put Gregory the Great. And the answer is Gregory the Great. He was in charge, kind of in Rome. His armies come in, and he got kind of hired to deal with it because the actual person running Rome didn't want to. And that's kind of how Rome sort of started to shift power over to the church during that time, because the church kind of started running the city basically because the people running it weren't very good at it. I was surprised somebody got confused by Constantine. In the past, Constantine had kind of tripped people up. And then Boniface, I don't really ever really spent any time in Rome. He was up in Germany chopping down trees and whatnot 200 years later. In fact, Boniface is kind of saved because of Gregory the Great and the work that he did. So
are you saying
called
the
the Great
government
for nothing, right?
Didn't do a good job back in the day even?
Yes, we got political on us, and we always try not to. Okay, who got these wrong? Okay, gotta keep in my head. It's so hard to sometimes. Okay, which one got that?
Are you tallying up the wrong answer, people? I don't think that's fair.
Look, no, guys, we're very fair, and one of you has 18, and the rest have 2. This has been added properly the whole time. No, I'm just kidding.
As long as that 18 number is mine, I'm okay with this, and it's all totally justified.
This is fine. Okay, and we're back. What's the next one?
Next question. Which of the following is not, underlined, bolded, not a famous martyr?
All right, which one did not get martyred?
Yeah. Walter Lowry, Betty Sam, John G. Patton.
Okay, Walter Lowry.
What'd I say?
You said Walter Lowry.
Lowry.
Gotta get that.
Lowry. John G. Patton, John Bradford. Which one was not martyred?
What if I take this as just not being famous, if I focus on the famous part?
Yeah, I have actually thought of that when I write them down. I'm like, he could do that technically and be like, well, he wasn't famous to me. Famous is slightly a subjective term. It's still not going to work. But I did think of that when I wrote it too. Glad to know I'm not the only one looking for loopholes here. Ooh. Some of you felt very confident. You got that in real fast. You were wrong. Well, no, you're wrong. I'm going to say you're wrong. I could see the case you'll make for it, but I will not acknowledge it. No, not that one. Wait, nobody really is getting this one? Well, that was my first strikeout. Alrighty.
You feel good about it?
I do.
Do
Okay.
you feel all right?
If I didn't all strikeouts, then I would feel like a jerk. So everybody at home, some of you put John Bradford because, let's be honest, you probably didn't hear about him. But Queen Mary actually had him executed right at the beginning of her reign. So that's how he went down. Pretty unpleasant. And the other one that everyone put down was Lowry. Lowry was a missionary in China, and he preached his first sermon in Chinese in Shanghai. And it opens with the phrase, everyone's talking about the pirates these days, but you know what I'm worried about? My eternal soul. I'm not worried about what happens to me with pirates. And then about 2 months later, he's on a boat and pirates throw him overboard and he dies. So
Get you every time.
Which I think is crazy because then when everyone was reading that sermon, he's like, he didn't even care. But it's how he died. So pretty cool. makes it easy to tally up the score here.
John G. Patton.
John G. Patton was the correct answer.
Is our winner.
He went to a tribe of people who were cannibals. He did all this crazy stuff in the Pacific, but he managed never to get killed, even though pretty much everyone else on his team did. Very sad, but he did not actually get killed.
So did Lowry die because as a martyr, or did he die because they were pirates?
You know, I thought of that as I was answering it. Moving next question.
He
wouldn't have been killed by pirates if he wasn't a mission. You know,
he was actively traveling for ministry purposes.
I was hoping no one else would pick it up, but I think you have to be killed. And John G. Patton,
circumstantial.
What? Who is that? Is that Kenn? Throw him off. No,
Alrighty.
It's a fair question. I like to think the pirates, and we don't know this, but I like to think they said, "Do you believe in Jesus?" and then they threw him overboard. That's a common pirate question. Let's move on.
You got to be careful reading into history. Rewriting history.
Yeah, okay.
Alrighty. Before we get into our very famous segment, Name That John, we're going to go around one more time, let people, again, talk about the show. I want to hear a recommendation from these hosts about what's a good episode for listeners to go and check out. If you're watching the stream and you're saying, hey, that's kind of an interesting idea that the podcast that that person runs, what's a good show or what's a good episode for me to start off on? I subscribe, I pull up your feed. What do I click on right away to get introduced to your show? Let's start with Patrick this time. Patrick, what?
Do you want me to give the scores out real quick, or do you want to do that?
You know, let's.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Patrick, your time got canceled.
Let's give a summary. Who is in the lead currently?
Who is in the lead currently? It's very, very close. Joseph has 6, and then right behind him are Lee and Jeremy with 5, and Kenn and Lauren with 4. And Patrick has a unless I've been counting wrong, Patrick has 1.
Okay.
But we're having fun.
It was the ontological question one.
Yeah, you did get that one. So
I mean, for the
apologetics, exactly.
Yeah.
You were swinging out of your wheelhouse. Okay, go ahead.
They're
you guys
clumped
give us
together
the
pretty good. It's any man's game at this point.
It's any man's game.
Patrick, again, remind us of your podcast and what's a great episode for listeners to go and find.
Sure. Cave of the Cross Apologetics, and if you just want to do more than listen and watch, or put our entire library on repeat and go to bed with it, that's fine too, because we're on YouTube. I don't know why people would want to watch us, but there that is. Sometimes we have cool little graphics. So currently we're going through this book called Truth and Culture of Doubt by Andreas Kostenberger, who I swear the man has written everything, because he seems to be all over the place. I think he goes into Christian publishing houses and just puts his name in the byline as well. But we're currently going over this book, which is a response to Bart Ehrman, and kind of a lot of his books are summarized by chapter. And if you don't know who Bart Ehrman is, he's one of the leading skeptical apologists for the other side, and he did the Jesus Unknown and misquoting Jesus. And so one that I would recommend that we did kind of recently is episode 110. So caveofthecross.com/EP110, or you can find it on YouTube. And there we take one of 3 parts to dissect the Walter Bauer idea that there were many Christianities floating out into the world in the 1st, 2nd, 3rd century, and that just kind of the might makes right, and all these different people in power use their know-how to suppress these other competing beliefs about Jesus and Christianity. And we take that and say, actually, no. And Walter Bauer should have been even more debunked, except for World War II came in and kind of derailed his translation. So it kind of grew on that side of the pond, and then it came over here. And Bart Ehrman has popularized it. Unfortunately, with his popularization, he doesn't take a critique to it. And so this book covers that. And so that's just one part of this chapter. So I'd recommend that one.
All right.
Perfect. All right, let's go on to Lee Jones from the Guys with Bible podcast. What is an episode you think listeners should start off with?
I'm so glad you asked. We just recently started a new series specifically about youth ministry. So that was our actually that was a very recent episode, our third back. So the third most recent episode is we started that series, and actually it was back to back. We talked initially just about some ideas of what's going on with the youth in the church, youth leaving, like when they go off to college, for instance, and not returning to the church, the issues of apostasy going on today, and some things that the church are doing right and doing wrong with youth ministry. And then we actually, after that, we had an interview with a gentleman who's planning a church on the campus of Ohio University named Josh McPheron. So it's kind of a twofer. I know you want one episode. You're asking for one.
That's okay.
But,
I'll
but you
allow
can
it.
jump in on the series. So I would recommend that. Yeah. And
Wonderful.
free James Coates.
Okay. Alrighty, moving on to Lauren. Could you tell us a bit about your podcast, Tulips and Honey, and what's an episode?
Yeah, sure. So this episode's going to sound really ridiculous because the last two wonderful guys were talking about really serious, important episodes. But this previous episode that I did was actually with my husband, and it was really fun. And we did a dad joke off. And I think if you're going to really get like an idea and a flavor for my personality, that's probably the best option. And it was really like in my own mind inspired by the trivia, this trivia thing, because I was thinking, what is a fun way that I could do that without stealing their idea? And then
hey,
my husband
it is your idea to steal. That is okay.
Well, actually, you got to have us on. I've got a great dad joke. I'm going to drop it right now in the middle of your segment.
Do it.
Sorry, I accidentally muted us for a second.
Oh, okay.
What's your dad joke?
All right. I got a great dad joke. I had to interject here to prove my worth to be on the next one. What do you call an alligator who solves crimes?
Tell me.
An investigator. Because he's Bill, look happier. That is a great. Come on, I think Ken's smiling. Okay, let's go ahead and back to Lauren.
Okay,
I like that. That is fantastic. I really, really love really bad dad jokes, and so I did lose. My husband won, but that's okay. He wins everything, Monopoly and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
But so that's the most recent episode. I think it was episode 87 or 88, something like that. So yeah, that's Tulips and Honey. Usually we do theological stuff, and we did sort of sneak in the topic of like actually being joyful and what it means and what it doesn't mean, but usually we stick to theology. But that one was fun, and that's really it. Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, from there we are going to go on over to Joseph. Joseph, what is an episode that people should find on your feed to listen to?
Sure, I think the episode we did 16, so that's a short history of the English Bible, and that was one of our guest episodes. So we had as our guest actually our pastor, Ryan Davidson. And so I'd be glad to share him with the world. That is an area of study for him that he just, has a wealth of information that he was able to share. But if you're wanting to, dip your toes in the water on how do we come to have God's word in our language, that's a great overview, and maybe give you an idea of, listeners, an idea of some areas where they could dive a little bit deeper if that's something that piques their interest.
Very neat. Very neat. Okay. And what's the name of that podcast one more time?
That is Church History Matters.
Church History Matters. Okay. Now we have the duo from the Do Theology. I'm going to start with Kenn. We'll go over to Jeremy after that. So you guys get to rep two different episodes for this episode. Kenn, what's one of your favorite episodes that you think listeners should check out on the Do Theology podcast?
Yeah, so we mentioned, I mentioned it earlier, but the season 3, episode 2, The Chart and the Church, is just a great episode for just understanding where we're coming from when we talk about things of theology and understanding primary, secondary, and that doubtful things is what we call the third column. So that's just a great episode to see the differences and understand what each column means and how we divide that out. And you're really best if you can listen to that while having the chart handy. So dotheology.com/chart. And we make that available for free to download, both in color and black and white. So we want this to be a resource for God's church. So go ahead and take a look at that. And yeah, I guess I don't have anything else to say.
Jumping over to Jeremy, also of Do Theology. What's one of the episodes that's different than Kenn's, but also still good?
Our last episode would be helpful to listen to. We walked through how you know when to call someone a false teacher or when to use the dreaded H word, heretic. Our chart is good for that too. And if you're more into interviews, we've done a whole bunch of interviews. Just search Do Theology, Elisa Childers or Ray Comfort or Justin Peters or Toby Sumter or Tom Askell or Revived Thoughts. We had you guys on there too. So just Google any of that stuff and give us some SEO credit.
Here we go.
There you
There
go.
we go. Excellent. Okay. Who's neck and neck right now? Who's at the top?
Who's at the top? Joseph is at the top. Followed, I mean, literally just by a point. Lee and Jeremy are tied, and Kenn and Lauren are tied at 4. And Patrick, he's killing it out here with Les.
Hey,
I don't want to do that again.
Hey, he's on the board.
He's on the board.
He's on the board.
Also, we didn't say our episode, but if you want to check out an episode, we recommend of Revived Thoughts. What is I mean, gosh, we recommend most of them. Jonathan Edwards, Sinners in the Hands of an Angry God, redone, came out today. That's the one we're going to recommend. It is the classic Sinners in the Hands of an Angry God, but it's told by Tom M. Sullivan, who's like a professional who does a bunch of sermons. It is terrifying, because it's Sinners in the Hands of an Angry God. If you're looking for a more lighthearted one, Dietrich Bonhoeffer came out about a month and a half ago. Fantastic. Also recommend that one. And as I said before, check out Martyrs and Missionaries. Okay, let's get back into this thing. People are waiting.
Right.
They need to get their church history.
Troy, do you know what time it's for?
Yes. Which, by the way, I saw you in the comments who turned this into something unpleasant, untoward. This is the great and famous segment of Name That John. And they turned it into something about a bathroom. Get back to the real.
Name. Okay. I didn't see that, but
do you mean like name the toilet? And then we like left them for 10 minutes to talk about it in the comments. And then they tagged me and they said Troy's gonna be so disappointed.
Yeah.
I was disappointed.
This is the spin-off.
This is the classy and only church history trivia online, and you're gonna be doing. Okay, let's get to it.
Yeah, John. No, it's because everyone in church history
is named John.
You got like an 80% chance.
If you name your child John, 95% chance he grows up to be a preacher. Fact.
Okay, let's roll this. Let's roll this segment. Is that John, Troy? Is that a John?
It's John.
Is this John?
That's John.
Now those look like John.
Looking like a John. It's John.
That could be a John.
Name that John.
But what kind of John?
Was there a Johann back there?
Is that this John?
Yeah, okay.
These intros are so good. Oh my word.
Yeah, no, you think you're on the
done yourselves.
This is church history trivia night. You don't just play weeks. You got to bring Name That John. Okay.
For this week's episode or segment of Name That John, our question: This famous John was an early Baptist who preached at the same time at the same church as Charles Spurgeon 100 years before he did. So it's Charles Spurgeon's church 100 years prior to that.
This famous John was there.
What John preached at that church? We got John Owen. We got John Brodus, John Dagg, John Gill, and John Wesley.
All right. And it is John Brodus, but otherwise killing it, man.
I think of him as my bro. John
Brodus. Yeah, I don't know if okay, when we go through the answers, you might want to walk that one back. By the way, in case you're like, there aren't that many famous Johns, Jonathan Edwards, John Stam, John Bradford, John Gresham Machen, John Gerson, Johann Tauler, but Johann's just medieval for
Johann
John,
as a John.
John Chrysostom, John, I mean, it just goes on and on.
Yeah.
Huss.
Yeah.
Huss.
John Huss. Thank you. Jan Huss, but that's again for John. John Wycliffe. I mean, it just is always John.
Yeah. I mean, I'm scroll through the Revived Thoughts catalog.
It's literally just John after John after John after John after John.
The Apostle John.
Well, okay. I mean, yes.
Wow.
An early Baptist would be John the Baptist.
Okay. Yeah, John the Baptist is the answer, guys. Come on. But yeah, so there's a lot of Johns, and now you're making me feel bad. But I'm just saying. Okay, let's do this. Everyone has put down. Wow, I thought this was tougher. Okay, everyone got the answer wrong. No, you got it right. John Gill.
John Gill.
And I love whoever put Gill, baby, because that's just how I read it. Oh, that was Jeremy. Okay, so anyway, John Gill, correct mundos, guys.
I think there's a really good episode of Revived Thoughts that has John Gill being read.
You think? Okay, technically everything we do is from Revived Thoughts or one of our other Revived Studios productions. And is it because I'm shamelessly plugging us? I mean, yes.
Yeah.
But also it's because I don't want. It's easier for me to do it that way, where I just pull from our own knowledge and I just look at our episodes. I'm like, oh yeah, that guy. John brought us, by the way, along with John Dagg. They were the founders of the Southern Baptist Convention. Some good theology, but they were
other issues.
They're pro-slavery. So that's why we don't want to call him our bro. We're not that strong. He's okay. Okay, next one. Well, he's not.
Who read that sermon for you guys though? I'm not quite sure. I really enjoyed it though.
I don't actually.
Oh, you know what? That was Justin Ray. That was Justin Ray. You threw me off there. I thought it was him for a second.
Yeah,
no,
totally.
when we wait, was it Justin Ray?
I think it was Patrick.
Was it Pat? No, was it? Patrick?
I think it was.
We knew it was Patrick because the sermon got delayed by some Star Trek trivia.
You're right. Okay. Well, sorry. Usually when we have a Southerner, we pull in Justin. This isn't important. Let's get to the next question. Sorry, Patrick.
Yeah, we thank all of our volunteers,
and we remember each and we've done 100. Okay, I do get them confused.
There's a lot, but no, we really do appreciate. Also, that reminds us to ask, hey, if you like old sermons and you thought I could narrate an old sermon, let us know, and we will hook you up with a sermon to read on Revived Thoughts for sure.
What I love about this show is we get to highlight other people's shows, but we get to look less intelligent, and so our audience leaves us for other shows. That's how I feel like it goes. Sure. Last time I got Basil and Chrysostom confused, and now this. And all right, let's move to the next question.
I was going to say, you guys make it super easy with the sermon recording as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And actually, if you've listened to our back catalog, if you're an old school fan, you would have also have heard John Gresham Machen, aka Kenn Chipchase, and you would have also recognized both John Calvin and John Wesley and Jeremy Howard at different points. So that was a conflicting one.
Yeah, a lot of this lineup has been readers on Revived Thoughts.
Lauren has not read any.
That's true. There's yet to be
next question.
A great church father in history.
Lauren could read. Sorry, Lauren.
Okay, I'm just gonna keep moving.
Someone
here.
put John Newton. Yeah, how did I forget John Newton? Okay, please let's move on.
John Newton's a great one.
Pass name that John.
He was illiterate until he was 17, and afterwards became one of the most famous preachers in Welsh history. Was it A, Christmas Evans, Oswald Chambers, George Matheson, or Christopher Love?
Hoping this one's a little trickier, but we'll see.
Hopefully, we'll see. This is one of the few that I feel like I could get right off the bat.
To be fair, if you've ever, you've done a few interviews with me, and I always mention this guy, so
it's true.
I really, so that probably doesn't help. I really like him.
He's great.
His testimony is incredible, and what he is very good. So, okay, we got people coming in with answers.
Coming in.
It's a toughie.
Arrange that. I don't like how the cover, the banner covers Joseph's head in this configuration. This one's a little bit better.
Okay. Yeah. Well,
but I don't want to take the banner away because people at home want to read the question. What if they've been in the bathroom, in the John, as it were, and are coming back?
Our segment.
Yeah. I need to be able to read the question.
The commenters have broken my heart. Is this? Oh my goodness! I can't believe they did that to us. All right, everyone's answers are in. We have 1, 2, 2 for John. Oh no, sorry. We're still waiting for Joseph. So did Joseph, you send one in there? I don't have it. If you did,
Joseph pieced out.
I see him right there.
Yeah, something better to do.
He's going to do pinafore flags.
Joseph, I still don't have an answer. Okay, he's typing.
Those earbuds are so rad.
Okay.
Oh my word.
Okay, he has sent an answer. We're good to go now. We have several of you put Chambers. Chambers is an excellent guess. He's not from Wales that I know of. He did get saved by a Spurgeon sermon, if I recall correctly. Very cool. But again, no, he's not from Wales. One of you put Love with a bunch of question marks. And that is also not correct, although he's pretty cool. He's like a Puritan from the 1600s, but he, again, not Welsh. Christmas Evans, which you put down, Lee Jones is our correct answer. He was literally illiterate. He was 17 years old when he got saved. He learned to reading the Bible and Pilgrim's Progress. He was like destined for like the salt mines to never be known by anybody, and was quite the drunk kind of fighter guy. Lost an eye in a fight even. And later on, he becomes one of like the most prolific preachers of Welsh history, and just a great, very beautiful way of speaking. I think he was really good. So that's Christmas Evans. I'm a big fan, as you can tell.
All right, so this is our last main question. We do have some 2 bonus questions afterwards.
Who got that one right?
Lee did. Sorry, Lee got that one correct.
Lee Jones. Okay, last church history question before our bonus questions here. We have, and Troy, I'm going to make you read this one.
Yeah, that's fine.
No way.
And I know which one we're on. Okay, which is not one of the early Cappadocian fathers.
See, you had a pause.
I did, and I might have still said it wrong.
Cappadocian.
A, is it Gregory of Nazianzus? Nazianzus. I hate that name. Nazianzus. Anyway, is it Basil? Is it C, Peter of Sebasti? Or is it D, Gregory of Nyssa? And I do love that all these guys are like this person, Basil. just kind of by himself.
Usually it's Basil.
Huh?
I say Basil.
Is it?
He can.
I think it's Basil.
It's Basil, I thought.
Yeah, it's Basil if you're talking about the person.
I'm
and
almost
Basil,
certain you
the
guys
spice.
are right, but that doesn't change the fact that I still usually say Basil.
Yeah, but he will be Basil for an
he'll be Basil.
This is going to be the new Saint Augustine debate.
Basil or Basil?
Sorry, I heard Augustine. Anyway? I know Saint Augustine. If that is what you were referring to,
I know
Saint Augustine is in Florida. Saint Augustine is in heaven.
Saint Augustine, maybe another guy named Augustine is in heaven, but Saint
Saint
Augustine, named
Augustine
after the
Florida?
famous saint, is in Florida and heaven.
Isn't it named after?
Yeah,
Isn't the Florida location.
Do you think they
named
named the city wrong? I mean, hello, okay.
No, he's named after the city in Florida.
That's pretty funny.
That timeline does not check out.
Okay, we got answers coming in hot. Jeremy, can't say that. Come on, man, we're gonna get censored. No, that makes it sound like he said something.
Yeah,
he wrote Gregory of Nyssa, but it looks like a different word. Anyway, Gregory of the car Nissan. I like that, Patrick. Lauren Hereford went. I don't know, idea. Maybe Greg if Niasis. Ken says Peter of Sebasti. Joseph says Basil.
Mm-hmm. The answer.
And Lee Jones also says Peter of Sebasti. And the answer is actually Peter of Sebasti, which is really funny. And here's why it's funny. Okay. Gregory of Nazianzus was good friends with Basil, and Basil's brother is Gregory of Nyssa. What's also funny is so is Peter. Peter is also a brother, but he doesn't get to be counted. So I feel a lot of sympathy. That's not a man. When you get to heaven, it's like, oh, it's Cappadocian fathers and their friend and the brother that didn't get a name. And there actually were a few other brothers, but anyway.
Life ain't fair.
Yeah, exactly. Boy, you know which one the father was proud of. So Lee, you got that correct, and Ken, you got that correct. Good job, guys. I'm going to give you guys the score again as we move into the bonus round. The bonus round is crazy, so it can get changed up pretty fast.
Right. And as Troy tallies that score there, the way that where we have two final bonus questions, and these are multiple choice where people, not multiple choice rather, but short answer. People send in a variety of answers, and whoever can collect the most answers applicable to the question get that many additional points. So we're going to jump ahead.
Jeremy Howard wanted to correct. He was shortening Nazianzus to Nazi, but see, I read it and saw Nazi. Greg Nazi. And I was like, what kind of weird reference? Okay, I'm glad we clarified that. So this was not anything untoward. He was just shortening the name.
I would never make a joke like that, Troy.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I just saw that name and I was like, what happened here?
Zuckerberg has now removed this stream.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm glad we clarified, because anybody out there is like, what got censored over there? So now we understand.
Thank you for the on-air correction.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, so ready for bonus round? Let's do it. The first one.
No. The scores.
Oh, sorry, scores. Ken, you have 6. Lee, you have 8. Lauren, you have 5. Patrick, you have 2. Joseph, you have 7. And Jeremy, you have 6. That puts a Lee in the lead. Joseph's right behind them. Ken and Jeremy are fighting strong. And Lauren, it's still anybody's game. If you guys recall in other versions of this, the bonus round can really throw this thing off. So we'll see what happens. The first bonus question is
60 seconds to send in as many famous preachers from the 1800s
in America that you can think of. Go ahead. And I actually made my own little list. So probably check y'all, because I can't imagine you're going to get many people that aren't on that list.
No Googling.
I did this to my wife yesterday, and she forgot the most famous preacher of the 1800s, I think. And it drove her crazy. It made me laugh. So
like she couldn't remember his name.
Yeah. And it took her like about 10 minutes before she was like, it was this guy. And I was like, there you go. Thanks, Jeremy, for picking something I had to Google straight off the bat. So thank you for that. There you go. That's the name I would imagine should have been front and row.
Sure.
Not that.
There's definitely one that comes to my mind. One that maybe preached his last sermon in this very city that we are hosting from.
But if we told you that we're preaching this, or this show is coming to you live from Kansas City, that probably wouldn't.
It probably wouldn't help.
Out.
Probably wouldn't
help.
All
right. Go ahead. I'm going to say you got about 30 seconds left. I probably should set the timer better. All right. Lauren's dropping names.
They coming through the chat?
She dropped one name. Lauren. Oh man. Okay. I love how Joseph, I think, was like, hey, I think some of these people have been on the show. And so I'm gonna go back and steal answers. You can do that. That's fair. Some of y'all are struggling. You have a lot of answers, Kenn, that are from this episode, and they're all from the 1700s, sir.
Kevin in the chat is repping Kansas City, so
hey,
represent.
What it is.
What it is.
All right, guys, we're gonna wrap it up here. 10 seconds, and then I'm gonna just say you're done bringing them in. Patrick, why am I blanking? Yeah, I know it's so tough
when you get put on the spot.
It is on the spot. I'm gonna go ahead and say,
gonna call it.
Wrap this guy up. Okay, and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ding, 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 ding. Okay, starting with you, Lauren. You put Ryle and MLJ. I believe when you put MLJ, you mean Martin Lloyd Jones, who is not would not count. He's not from America, and also he died a lot more recently than the 1800s.
Is that who you're thinking of, Lauren?
Yeah, Lauren, correct me if Martin Lloyd Jones was not who MLJ is.
Wasn't he alive though? At least when
well, I don't mean like 1899. Like, he's got to be famous in the 1800s. But I congratulate you for trying. And then Ryle would be a great guess, but he was in Britain. So but that was a good one. It seems like you would think you would know that, right? And then when you put it on the spot, it's hard. Joseph Knowles did Finney, Dag, and
born in
Broadus.
1899. That doesn't count still, though.
Yeah, okay. Don't try and throw.
Wait, unless we want to.
No, you gotta be famous in the
technical.
1800s. You can't be born in 1899 and slide in as a baby. I'm no. Oh man, it's funny though. I love it. Finney, Dag, and Broadus. Joseph Knowles went with like probably 3. He just was like, I'm gonna pick the worst people. They are famous, but they're gonna be people that are gonna be very controversial. So he does get 3 points for that. Joseph, you're up to 10. Because where'd my list at go? There. Okay. Next up, Lee Jones. He put C.I. Schofield, and then he changed it to Schofield, and that was his one answer, but he was correct. Was that Lee? Okay, 9. Let's see who we got else here. Boom. Jeremy says Peter Cartwright and D.L. Moody. Then he says, because I didn't know who Peter Cartwheel was here. And he says the Presbyterian guy who ran for POTUS, 3 names, lost the general election. Give me half a point. I'll give you both points because I never heard of him, but he does seem to be famous enough to have a Wikipedia article. And that is by far good enough for me.
No. So there
you got half a point for a guy who ran for office who nobody remembers. And you don't even remember him?
So Peter Cartwright's 1. D.L. Moody's 2, and then there's a Presbyterian guy who ran for president. He lost the general election. He had 3 names.
William Jennings Bryan is who you're thinking.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
Okay, I feel like now I have to give it to. Was that Joseph?
Joseph, yeah. I feel like
how famous can he be if we don't remember his name? Also, Kenn, I love that you put Edwards, Whitfield, Cotton Mather, John Cotton, Increase Mather, which is great because you put all American preachers that aren't in the 1800s, and then you put John and then the other John, which I do love. But no, and I can't give you half a point. So if it ties up, you can feel good. Lee Jones says, all of a sudden he comes in saying, wait, you didn't get my other 2, Finney and Darby? Okay, Lee, I'll give I don't know.
They should be time-stamped.
Darby.
I sent him the same time as I sent.
Everything came in at the same time.
Okay.
I know Lee's got a history of obviously cheating, but I think we're okay here. Did anything good? Has anything good ever come from America? I'm reading that like, has anything good come from Nazarene? Patrick put B.B. Warfield, and that is correct. Patrick is correct. So, okay, I'm going to read you my list. Schofield, Moody, Carroll, Kyler, Talmadge, Simpson, Brezzy, Hodge, Warfield, Van Dyke, Dag, Broadus, Darby, E.K. Love Jones, Henry Beecher, Finney, Darby, and Booth, just to name a few. So any of those would have been great. And I guess Peter Cartwright.
Yeah.
Next one. That was purely a brag. Look at all these names.
If you didn't know,
I feel like when you're going to hear some of them, you're going to go, "Oh yeah,
sure.
that guy for sure."
Sure, yeah.
Especially some of you who didn't put Moody, you had to be like, "Oh, not remember Moody."
Yeah, he preached his last sermon here in Kansas City before he went back home and died.
Yep.
So,
all right, we ready for the next one?
One more. So this is it. This is
the final question. Lee has 11. Joseph has 10. Jeremy has 8. And I did put 0.5 for fun next to his name. Lauren has 5. Kenn has 6. And Patrick has 3. But if you got a bunch right, you could bonus your way up.
It's any man's game. Any man and or woman's game.
There you go. That's All right, let's do this.
Alrighty, last one. Name as many famous martyrs as you can think of outside of the Bible. Can't be in the Bible.
Name a famous martyr outside of the Bible. Please go ahead and do your best. We went for outside of the Bible for obvious reasons. So you just put the whole apostles down.
Right.
Wrap it up.
Yeah.
All right. People are putting their answers in. And I hope comments, you guys have been throwing some names and stuff out there. I really apologize that this week we had a little bit of sound technical stuff right beforehand, and that caused me not to log in and allow me to see the comments. Next time, which we will try to do, there will be a next time. We will definitely make sure we can read your comments on air and catch up with you guys too. Okay. We got them coming. I'm going to give you guys another 30 seconds to roll them in. Oh, that's a name I don't actually know, Joseph. Jump down here. That's good enough. I'll take it.
They're flooding in.
They are. Patrick. That's cracking me up.
Let's do a 10-second countdown.
10 seconds.
I'm gonna give it 10,
9,
8. Are you doing it wrong?
Go ahead, Joel. Go ahead.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Wrap it up. Ding, ding, ding. You guys are all in. What are you doing there, Ken? Stop typing. Stop. I see it. Don't do it, Ken. All right. Don't put the other John. All right, Lauren, you're up with Irenaeus, Polycarp, Tyndale, and you then said spell check, William Tyndale. But I know who you met. You met Tyndale.
Oh yeah, Tyndale.
Yeah, Tyndale. And those are correct. That gives you 3 more points, putting you, Lauren, at the wrap up of 8. Good job. I think I did say I made this harder, and the scores are saying that is correct. Maybe I made it a little too hard. So maybe next time we'll go a little easier on it. Get into it. The next one up here, Kenn Chipchase put Justin Martyr, Lowry, John Bunyan, and Bradford, John Huss. Now, did John Bunyan get out? He did. I don't think John Bunyan was a martyr. I thought he got. I thought he just got sick.
Bunyan.
Let's check that real quick. Gonna run an on-air fact check. Yeah.
Did he die in jail?
Stop the
No,
steam.
he was out of jail at that point because he got let back out to preach a little bit before he died. And I believe he did go back to jail again. Then he got let out again. I believe he just died of pure illness.
That he got in jail.
No, I don't see that.
It's kind of like the pirate thing.
I was about to say. I mean, if we're gonna be nitpicking, what?
No,
He got killed by pirates in jail.
I recall in the story we told, they asked him. The disease did not ask him. I'm sorry. But Justin Martyr, Lowry, and
martyr deaths
Bradford
are COVID deaths now, or what?
Oh my gosh. Ken is what Ken has. You guys. Jeremy Howard put Elliot.
Don't say what I said. I'll see myself out.
Okay. I gotta put down Elliot's other friends because that makes me laugh. Elliot and the other guys, the pals, and then you put Nate Saint ? I don't know Nate Saint.
Wasn't that one of Elliot's friends?
Was it? Well,
Yeah, that's part of his crew.
Okay, so yeah, that's 2 for Jeremy. 10 point. Oh, Jeremy, you're half a point ahead of Ken, which will at least in the else be a good bragging right for you from your half a point. Lee Jones, he went in. Okay, you got Stam, Polycarp, Tyndale, Bonhoeffer, John Huss, and Justin Martyr. OBS is what he put underneath Justin Martyr. And some people would push back on Bonhoeffer. But
I'm pushing back under Bonhoeffer.
But those people aren't Joel and I, because look, you get a book called, what is it, Martyr, Missionary, Spy, or whatever it is. Sure. There you go.
I thought we were pushing back on it because he wasn't a Christian, right?
Oh, fighting words.
Wow.
Fighting words,
go
Jeremy.
listen to our sermon. It's pretty good. Let's see who else we got here. Joseph Knowles. You put Jim Elliott, Nate Saint, and Roger Eudorian. You got John Stam, Betty Stam, Jane Gray. Boy, he's got a bunch. Okay, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9. Here we go. Joseph Knowles, 9. Whew. Okay, this was a close one. Let's do third place. Do third place starters. Third place goes to. It would have been a tie had it not been for the half a point. So Jeremy, with a half a point, you can take third place. Nice job from Do Theology. You were kind of technically tied with Ken for fourth place there.
Let's just say Do Theology got third place.
2 theology got there. I like it. All right. Second place goes to who is that? Oh, actually, I guess right now we're announcing who the winner is. So the winner.
Wait. Because it's second place.
Because if you said second place, then I guess it doesn't give away. Well, anyway, all right. Second place is going to. I'm so sorry. It is Lee Jones with 17
dethroned.
Points. Oh gosh, I always said like I'm gonna beat Lee, but then when it actually happens, you feel sad.
You don't know
You're
how
like,
to.
Oh my gosh, I didn't think the legend that was. He did very good though. He had 17 points, and maybe it's fair that he lost to this gentleman. I mean, it was an unfair challenge because he lost to Joseph Knowles, who is the runner of the Church History Matters podcast. So there was going to be a guy you're going to lose to, the gentleman currently running a church history podcast.
The certified professional.
Exactly. That does make sense. You can walk away. There's no shame in losing to that gentleman.
What was the point difference between them?
About 2. So Lee got 17. Close. Joseph got 19. It was very, very tight. And then Lauren, you had 8 and you were doing pretty good. It was a pretty strong episode, or a pretty strong run for you.
Yeah.
And Patrick, you have, you know what? It was a great, it came to the Cross Apologetics, great show. Patrick had less points, and we'll leave it at that. Good job, everybody. This was fun. We definitely enjoyed having you all on. Sorry, we are pretty goofy on these things, but we do enjoy having you guys. This one went longer than normal, probably because we had more players than normal. We really hope you, as the audience, had some fun. Thank you for leaving comments. Thank you for talking and enjoying interacting. A little less on our side this time than normal. Hopefully next time that is all fixed up. And we really encourage you, last time, go check out these other podcasters. Go see what the works they're doing. They are trying to bring God's word to you, some in fun ways, some in serious ways, some with church history, apologetics, all in different ways, all with the goal of edifying the kingdom of God. And so we really hope that you will check them all out. And hopefully you have some new shows to look at and enjoy in your feed. Other than that, I don't have anything else to say other than can't wait till the next one.
Yeah. Have a great evening.
Bye, guys.